Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. Dana here. Today I'll be making this vintage floral card using the new Fresh Picked collection from Spellbinders. As always, there will be a supply list in the description box below. I will have affiliate links when available. If you choose to shop through these links, it does help support me and I do greatly appreciate it. Now let's get on to the making. Off camera, I die cut the daffodils out of two different styles of coffee dyed paper. One is just a crinkle coffee dyed paper and the other is stenciled through a placemat. And I'm just gluing all of the pieces together using my Barely Arts liquid glue. Now you may notice that the flower centers look a little bit different here than they do in the final photos. I forgot to color these and I did that off camera after I stopped filming. But the two inks that I used were Vintage Photo and Ground Espresso for the darker brown. And here I remembered to color the flower centers of this one, so you'll see me doing that with the Ground Espresso Distress ink. Now for this flower center, there is little pieces that you can add to add a little bit of dimension to the stamen. I didn't do it, I just added a bit of color to them. And then I glued that those flower pieces together with my Barely Arts glue. Then I die cut the hello from the Wonderful Script Sentiments out of a piece of vellum and then a piece of gold glitter cardstock, and I'm just gluing those together. Then for the background of the card, I took a piece of coffee dyed paper that I had cut down to 4 1/4 by 5.5, and I'm going to run it through my Platinum 6 machine using the Lumber Texture Fade from Tim Holtz. But I wanted to add a bit of color first, so I'm just rubbing my Salvage Patina Distress Oxide ink over the top of the embossing folder. This is the part that will be debossed into the cardstock, and it'll deboss that color when you run it through the machine. And here's what that piece looks like. I just love doing this with embossing folders. It gives you more life out of your embossing folders. Then I decided I wanted to add a bit of more color around the edges, so I took my blending brush and I'm just inking around the edges using that same Salvage Patina ink. Then I set that piece aside to dry a little bit. Once it was dry, I glued it down to my card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I started to assemble my card. With dies like these that they take up basically the whole front of an A2 card, I do like to place them before I actually add any glue, just to make sure that I've got everything lined up. And once I had everything lined up the way that I wanted it, I glued those down with my Barely Arts liquid glue. And to finish off the card, I added my sentiment in the bottom right-hand corner over the top of that flower. And here's the final card. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again for joining me today. If you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing and liking my video while you're there. And as always, take some time to pamper your inner goddess, and I will see you in the next one.